So I just wanted to make a statement. I'm going to buy one. Now, here's the bad news. I'm not allowed to drive.
As Donald Trump crashed our markets once again today, Donald Trump decided to do a product placement event for Tesla outside the White House. He made a big announcement that he was going to be buying a Tesla for himself and also for his granddaughter, as Americans are suffering as their pensions and 401ks are being destroyed. This is what Donald Trump is doing. Just take a look. He goes in the Tesla. He goes, wow, computers. Wow, Elon. Here, watch this.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. That's beautiful. This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer. That's beautiful. Wow.
So utterly pathetic. Donald Trump and Elon Musk outside the White House selling Teslas. Donald Trump was asked other questions as well, like, do you believe that your tariff policies bear any responsibility for the turmoil we're seeing in the economy? Trump goes, nope, it's all Biden's fault. Play this clip.
Mr. President, you mentioned the ups and downs in the stock market. You said it'll go up, it'll go down. But do you and your tariff policies right now bear any responsibility for the turmoil we're seeing this week?
Biden gave us a horrible economy. He gave us horrible inflation. And I think the market was going to go very, very bad. If anything, I have a lot of very smart people, friends of mine and great businessmen. They're now investing because of what I'm doing. Because long term, what I'm doing is making our country strong again, financially strong, militarily strong, and strong if we want to get away. Remember this, we have wars. When I left, we had no wars. We didn't have Ukraine and Russia. We didn't have October 7th. We didn't have that disaster that took place with the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And you look at what's happened there. We caught the
next. Even Peter Doocy of Fox says, hey, Donald, you know, these optics are really bad. You're out here talking about buying Teslas while Americans are suffering. Do you see how that could be a bad look? Hint, hint. Here, watch this.
President Trump buying a new car, while there are some folks who will see this clip at home and they are struggling with their retirement accounts down at the moment, uncertainty about work ahead.
Well, I think they're going to do great. I think our country had to do this. We had to go and do this. They've taken away, other countries have taken away our business. They've taken away our jobs. I did it initially very strongly against, as you know, China and some others in the first term. And it was a very successful term. We had no inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And then we had COVID, which we had to straighten out.
So that even Doocy from Fox is like, what are you doing? Next up, Donald Trump talks about how the borders between the United States and Canada are artificial and the United States needs to immediately annex and conquer Canada. Play this clip.
By the way, when you take away that artificial line that looks like it was done with a ruler, and that's what it was. Some guy sat there years ago and they said, rah. Well, when you take away that and you look at that beautiful formation of Canada and the United States, there is no place anywhere in the world that looks like that. It's
plus Greenland.
So
plus Greenland.
And then if you add Greenland, that's even. That's pretty
It's
good.
going to look beautiful.
Okay?
What are you going to tell us?
I mean, this individual is an utter psychopath, crashing the economies and talking about conquering and annexing Canada and how borders are artificial. By the way, this is Mr. Border Guy, purportedly, who was like, borders matter. But between Canada and the United States is artificial. And he's talked about conquering Greenland as well. Here, Donald Trump talks about how he's rebuilding the military, and then he's connecting that with annexing Canada. Watch this clip.
Everybody in military. We have a great military. I rebuilt the military during my first time. We're going to have to rebuild it a little bit again. Not that much, but we're going to have to rebuild it a little bit again. But Canada would be great as our cherished 51st state. You wouldn't have to worry about borders. You wouldn't have to worry about anything. And by the way, Canada is very highly taxed and we're very low tax. We're considered a low tax nation because of me, because I cut the taxes so low. So the people of Canada would pay much less tax. It makes a lot of sense. And by the way, when you take away that artificial line that looks like it was done with a ruler, and that's what it was. Some guy sat there years ago and they said, rah. Well, when you take away that and you look at that beautiful.
Here's where Donald Trump talks about spending $35,000 today to buy his granddaughter a Tesla, and he loves the Teslas. Play this clip.
I bought for a very special young woman, do you know? I'm sure you've never heard of her, Kai. And she's a great golfer, and she puts the clubs in the back, and I guess it's a very safe deal. She loves it. And I actually bought one about a year ago, and she loves it. And it's very safe, it's very strong, heavy. It's all steel, stainless steel. But the cars themselves, so what is this one, Mila?
That's the Model Y.
That's a Model Y, so I have a lot of information to put into price.
Yeah.
I want to make a good deal here. You know, I do notice this. They have one, which is $35,000, which is pretty low. What is that all about?
Yeah, it's. I guess we want to make the point that Teslas aren't all expensive. You can get a Tesla for as little as $35,000.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank the president for his support. This means a lot. And also thank everyone out there who is supporting Tesla.
By the way, you remember when Donald Trump was saying that he wants to destroy all things electric and how he hates electric vehicles? Well, who's actually expecting this moron to be consistent about anything? I guess the only thing he's consistent about is bankrupting everything he touches. Here, Donald Trump is, again, talking about the markets, and he's like, so what? You'll have drops here, you'll have drops there. It doesn't matter. We're being treated unfairly. Here, play this clip.
You're going to have drops, and markets are going to go up, and they're going to go down.
Yeah.
But you know what? We have to rebuild our country. Our country has been stripped of its jobs, of its factories. And I'm tired of seeing where they build apartments, cheap apartments in an old broken down factory. But you have factories all over the place that are empty from many decades ago. And we're going to change it around. And it's all taxing policy. You know, it's really a policy because we have great workers, great people. It's really a policy of taxing and incentives.
He's like a wind-up Furby. Like, it's just a bunch of word salad, and he has no clue what he's even talking about, except the words that you can kind of figure out what he's saying: crash our economy and destroy our alliances. Here, you have Donald Trump and Elon Musk talking about how, Tesla owners are being unfairly targeted. These are innocent people who have done nothing wrong. Here, play this clip.
And I just want to thank the president for his support. This means a lot. And also thank everyone out there who is supporting Tesla. It's really terrible that there's so much violence being perpetrated against people at Tesla, Tesla supporters, Tesla owners, Tesla stores. These are innocent people who've done nothing wrong.
But nobody's been, it hasn't been, there's been some physical damage, a little damage, and we want to keep it that way because I don't want to say this, it's just not the appropriate, but law enforcement's out there watching everybody. We don't want this to happen. And not to somebody that's been so good to our country. He didn't have to do this. He didn't have to go through this. And we can't let it happen. And aside from that, I happen to love the product. It's a lot nicer if you also happen to love the product. And he's done a really good job. Go ahead.
More whining by Donald Trump about being treated unfairly by Canada and Mexico. Let's play it.
He's not going to do that, so I respect that. But we were just informed that he's not going to do that. Look, we've been treated very unfairly by Canada. We've been treated very unfairly by Mexico. But we've been treated very unfairly by every country all over the world. The European Union is horrible, horrible. And we're going to get it back.
Here, Trump again, more whining from him, saying our country's been stripped of everything. I'm tired of seeing where they build apartments, cheap apartments, in broken down factories. Here, play this clip.
Tesla stock is You're going to have drops, and markets are going to go up, and they're going to go down.
Yeah.
But you know what? We have to rebuild our country. Our country has been stripped of its jobs, of its factories. And I'm tired of seeing where they build apartments, cheap apartments in an old broken down factory. But
then he says he doesn't know if Elon Musk is even a Republican.
He's penalized because he's a patriot. He's an incredible patriot. And I don't even know if he's a Republican. I really don't.
Mr. President.
Well, I'm not sure if he was.
Tesla stock is also
have drops and
By the way, this disastrous press conference by Trump follows what went down earlier in the White House, the disastrous press conference by Donald Trump's chief propagandist Caroline Levitt. And here Caroline Levitt just lies about what tariffs are. And she's like, we are delivering on our promises of tax cuts. The tax cuts to the American people are the tariffs. That's what tax cuts are, right? And the reporter's like, no, tariffs are literally tax hikes, not tax cuts. What are you talking about? Watch it.
You're welcome.
If we could just step back for a second. When President Trump last addressed the BRT when he was on the campaign trail, his big push was on tax cuts. He's going there today as he's proposing tax hikes in the form of tariffs. And I'm curious for why he's prioritizing that over the tax cuts.
He's actually not implementing tax hikes. Tariffs are a tax hike on foreign countries that, again, have been ripping us off. Tariffs are a tax cut for the American people. And the president is a staunch advocate of tax cuts. As you know, he campaigned on no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security benefits. He is committed to all three of those things, and he expects Congress to pass them later this year.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have. They don't get charged on foreign companies. They get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press. Mary.
And the White House continued their message of annexation of Canada today. When asked if the United States considers Canada an ally, here was Caroline Levitt's response. Let's play it.
I wonder, does this administration still consider Canada to be a close ally of the United States?
Well, I think Canada is a neighbor. They are a partner. They have always been an ally. Perhaps they are becoming a competitor now. But as the president also laid out in his Truth Social post today, he believes that Canadians would benefit greatly from becoming the 51st state of the United States of America. And I actually looked into some of the research about the cost of living in Canada. And the cost of living is much higher than it is here in the United States of America. The average cost of a home in Canada is much higher. In Quebec, the highest tax rate for an income of $150,000 or more is 53.3%, more than half of Canadians' incomes they are being taxed on. So the president has made it clear that he believes Canadians would be better served economically, militarily, if they were to become the 51st state of the United States of America. Reagan.
Thank you, Caroline.
Oh yeah, and this follows Lara Trump appearing on Sean Hannity last night, where she says that why are people upset at Donald and Elon? They should be kissing their feet. People should be kissing Donald and Elon's feet. Here, play this clip.
We cannot survive as a country. So people ought to be kissing the feet of Elon Musk and Donald Trump for being the two people to actually do this.
Well, and that's what went down at the White House today. Horrific, horrific stuff. The economy's tanking. Markets are crashing. And this is what Donald Trump is doing. Product placement to try to sell Teslas in front of the White House. Absurd. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.